All right, hi everybody. Welcome back to the 700 drivetrain repair video. We're going to start by adding some of this stuff we already took out to the discard pile. So we've got both the rear axles, both are junk. That front axle that was previously pulled, at least part of it. We've got the rear drive shaft. That can go. Okay, cleared off a little space. Now we're going to get into the rear wheel bearings. So these are held in with these retaining clips across the front. Can't really see it too well. A lot of gunk in there. Okay, and you can see there's a tapered edge in the back that they butt up to, so that clip comes out, and then we need to drive these through the front. See if I can get this one off. It definitely helps to have the right tools. So get that in there. Try that again. A better idea. Let's go this way. Let's go this way. Okay. And it just pops right out. It's really amazing how easy it is when you use the right tool. Okay. Now, you can do this one of two ways. You can do it with a bearing driver and a hammer, or you can do it with a press. I am going to do it with a press. At least I'm going to attempt to do it with a press. And then after I get them out, I'm going to clean all of this excess oil and grease and gunk that came from those rear CV joints after the boots broke open. So yeah, none of that's supposed to be in there. That should be clean. So we'll clean all that out and get these ready to go back in. All right, so we got that done, and as you can see in the video what I talked about with having the right tools, we had to use the special equipment to make that jack work, but that's okay, it did the job. I struggled a little bit with the second one, just getting the blocks underneath this so that I could get it pressed out, but it's out. Again, they're not terrible, but we're doing them anyway. So next step is getting all that gunk cleaned out, getting these cleaned up, and getting it ready to receive the new wheel bearing. I've got these. No, these are not new. I know they look like it compared to what they did look like, but they're just clean. It goes to show what a little bit of elbow grease will do. So, got those all cleaned up, ready to receive the new bearings. I cleaned up the hubs. And so after we get the new drive shaft on, then we will work on installing the new axles. Also, you can see that we finally hit the spring melt in Minnesota. It is April 2nd, and this is my tractor storage. The snow is all the way up to the roof line. And now that it's melting, it is melting into my workspace and across my floor. So unfortunately, depending on just how quickly this all melts and how quickly this becomes a mud bog, it may slow down some progress. Okay, we got one end of the drive shaft off. I had to unfortunately separate the U-joint again, so you can see the little roller pins in there. The biggest thing is just making sure that they all stay in place so that you can pop the caps back on, drive them on once it's on the shaft. So I figured I'd get that out of the way, and we'll get that installed here in a minute. Okay, so I've got one end of the drive shaft. I put a little bit of grease inside the splines just to make everything slide smooth, and then I've got the roll pin, and I've got just a little coating of grease on there too. It just never hurts. And then I also have already cleaned up the output shaft from the transmission, and almost through. There we go. A little further. I have to actually finish it with the punch. Recessed on both sides just a little bit. Looks good. And again, keeping with the theme of using the proper tools for the proper job. There you go. All right, let's get the rest of the shaft. Now again, if you remember in the first video, I was complaining because I didn't find a key or a roll pin in here, and that's because there's no through hole on the input shaft of the rear differential. And I'm not sure why, but they didn't worry about it, and I'm not going to either. The splines look to be in good shape. I really don't see this thing spinning on that shaft. Okay, so I'm having trouble with getting this U-joint back together, and after having some supper and thinking about it, I think I know what my problem is. As I was thinking, this came off this way. It really should go back on this way. Well, if woulds and shoulds were candy and nuts, how in the devil did I do it? Really hate to take the whole U-joint apart. Actually, I think I got ahead of myself putting the roll pin in. I have a feeling that's my problem, because, yep, that's the difference. Okay, roll pin extraction part 2. Is that going to make the difference? Oh, for crying out loud. You'd think I would learn. I did the same thing the last time. There. Okay, let's go try this nonsense again. I'll come back for the caps. And let's make sure that our spline hole is lined up, so I really don't want to play that game either. Oh, yep, okay. Now, just set this guy in, like so what, and then set this guy in. Oop. Okay, roll pin install, take 2. Got the U-joint back together and everything is happy. Insert our roll pin. There we go. Okay. Now you can see the difference. There is no backlash, no play in that at all. Nice and tight. Big difference. All right, moving on. Don't mind the chickens. Next step is put our new rear wheel bearings in and get them ready to go back together. Okay, time to reinstall the snap rings. So I already got the new bearings pressed in. They went in nice and smooth. Now if I can do this, we're going to get these started. Into the groove. Ta-da! One more. I'm a professional. And in. There we go. And now, just taking a look at what they look like now compared to when they came out, you can actually see the lock ring in there. And I can handle them without gloves because they're not all greasy. That's just the antique tractor guy in me. I could have left them dirty and greasy because they're just going to get that way again, but I like to clean things up because I don't like to have to wear gloves. All right. So the next video will be pretty much slapping together the rear end, putting it all back together. Again, thanks for watching. If you like it, please subscribe.